Hi, it's Gadget again, part 3. Okay, cat's still there. Well, there. Well, whichever way this thing works. Oh, he's getting up. Alright, let's see. Yeah, that way. That's how it goes. Okay. Well, basically, like I said before, like, it's going to be interesting because I don't want YouTube to screw this up. So that's why I'm doing them in pieces. Part 3 is basically, we're up to where I said, like, in 6th grade I was diagnosed with dyslexia. I had been, a year before, reading a book called Do Bananas Chew Gum? The original version, not this PC'd version that they have out now and everything, which I wish to God my mother never gave out that book because I love that book and everything. It was about a child that couldn't understand, like, certain things, stuff, and all that. And when they diagnosed me with dyslexia, I brought the book out, and my mother goes, "You're too damn smart for your own damn good." So that's basically what it is that I am too smart for my own damn good. And it really is interesting on stuff and all that, because if I wasn't this smart, I think that's why, how do I put it, I could survive a manic mother and a military type father and everything. And basically, like I said, it comes from my childhood because I could put things together with pieces missing, and well, that's how I got my nickname. I'm actually named after from the guys in high school, which I'll get to later, but they named me Gadget from the Rescue Rangers because she could put things back together without things and basically get it still working and have pieces missing. And she was also sheltered, raised by her dad. Technically, my dad did raise me because that's the only influence, plus my uncle, plus my Aunt Millie and everything, the strong influence I had growing up to things and stuff. I mean, there are things I can do that I used to get yelled at because basically it said, "What's that going to do for your life? How's that going to feed you? How's that going to..." And to this day, I still get that. How's that going to feed you? How are you going to make a living on that? You can't make a living. All discouragement, never any positive. The only positive people were my uncle, were my Aunt Millie, were, like, all the positive people now are gone out of my life at this time when my mother finally gets me back. She made sure there was no positive coming in. All it was negative. And she didn't see it as negative. She saw it as, like, do this or else. This is what you say. You live here, you follow my rules, you obey me. And that thing is too, like, if you ever tell your child they have to obey you, check reality, because they're not a pet. They're not a slave. They're a human being. So basically, from being told I had to obey because I got dragged to every convention, everything for dyslexics. And it wasn't that I could be... Now remember, you're supposed to let your child grow, be independent and everything, right? No. She wouldn't let me explore things unless she was there. She had to be there because she was afraid people were going to get me, poison me, change my mind, you know. She wouldn't let me find out and make my own mistakes. So I learned at an early age, you don't make mistakes. You make sure everything's perfect so that mommy stays off your back, so that daddy stays off your back, okay? You make sure everything is perfect. If you make a mistake, it was worse. You'd have problems. And you can see my glasses are falling off. So you figure 6th grade, hell, right? 7th grade, hell, because now the schools are not geared for anyone dyslexic. They don't understand what to do and everything, and the only school at the time was geared for it was Hunter Grade School. You had to be in at 6th grade, and basically you would go to the high school, right, and everything. My mother made me miss the test. She got the dates wrong, conveniently, as I put it late now, because there are things I have found out that she did them on purpose, because she didn't want me gone. She didn't want me ripped away from her. I mean, there's even things for college that if I tell you stories, how I missed out on scholarships and everything because of her and everything, you'd be like, oh my God, where was somebody to rescue this person? And that's the thing. I am a victim. But you know what? I'm a survivor now. And that I'm going to get to also in things. So you got to figure from 6th grade on, I never went, for grade school and also 6th grade on, I never went on class trips. I never went anywhere because I was always studying. I was always being tutored. I was always being, so I could graduate and everything. I had no childhood. I had no summertime. I had no, well, scratch one part of that. I did in August, the whole month of August, go out to my Nana's. That was the only time, but it was still isolated. There were no other kids my age. I still had to study. I was not allowed to go play unless I studied. And forget it. It was like, what's the point? There was no childhood. There was no playtime. All I kept doing was studying and studying. But I also was getting bullied and belittled by people in school because they couldn't stand my mother. Teachers couldn't stand me. They didn't know what to do with me. And you know how frustrating that is? Plus, to have also diagnosed at 13 years old, okay, because this leads into high school, that your knee is messed up for some reason. Some reason it's the knee of a 60-year-old at 13 years old. Wouldn't that be a red flag to somebody saying that, why is her knee this way? That's where we get into things about stuff. My mother would not take me to the doctor. My mother would wait till I was really, really sick or throwing up. Or basically like, because I never looked sick. Okay, I always looked healthy. I went to school. I kept telling them I don't feel good, don't feel good. I threw up on the teacher's shoes because literally they did not realize I was sick and everything. I had to go to school. That was my only escape. I had to go to school. My mother couldn't handle us. To hear that your own mother couldn't handle you. I'm not an animal. You can't handle. It's called take care of your child. But she couldn't do it. And nobody knew what manic was back then and everything. So you figure all this stuff is going on and everything. Nobody knows what the hell's wrong with me. I was going through MRIs, all this stuff. Had to be put in a brace from age 13 to the age of 16 years old, and even question in high school about why I'm put into a brace, why I have to. All my life, this is what people have been doing to me. Questioning me. Why? Why this? Why that? Why can't you be this? Why can't you? Don't question me. Learn from me. Ask me. If I don't fit your standards, oh well. There's a reason. I'm an individual. I'm not you. Get to know me. Like I said, I have friends for over 20 years who got to know me and said, boy, people peg you wrong. Because everybody wants that one viewpoint in their mind of people. And they don't realize when someone doesn't fit the mold, that person's worth looking a second look at. Worth getting to know. You know? So you figure, I survived 8 years of hell in grade school, dealing with all this and everything. To the point where right before graduation, I was egged. One of my classmates threw a raw egg at my head. I was covered in egg yolk and everything. So you see how well appreciated I was by people. Why I don't trust people very much. Okay? Basically, high school was no different. Because it was a constant battle to even pick a high school, because it was where my mother wanted me to go. Her alma mater is Spelman High School. I did not want to go there. I didn't want to go to Ursula. I didn't want to go to Aquinas. Because they were trying to find a school for dyslexics. I wanted to break away. I was 13 going into high school because I'm younger than I'm supposed to be. Okay? Because of my birthday. And I basically had to fight. I was in tears in a car in Finest Now just Stop and Shop's parking lot saying, I want to go to Sacred Heart High School. Because I was not going where my family went. I was not going where the bullies were. I wanted a change and individuality. But the problem was thanks to all the medicines I was on, the steroids and everything for my knee, I was about 300, 400 pounds, which I am not showing those pictures. Okay? So Matt and Mom giving me home haircuts where, I'll give you a good example. Forget this part. Try looking like this. Look this. No hair. Your freshman year at 300 and something pounds. Okay? Yeah, I was not liked. And then you meet up with old friends and everything. Actually met up with my best friend from kindergarten, who did not even recognize me because of everything, but recognized my sister, the baby, he called her. Everything. And then had to be picked on by girls because I could talk to him because he was the heartthrob of the school. He's married now in California. But because he was my friend, they all got jealous and took it out on me. So I was left at the outcast table and everything. And I'm looking at the time now. All I could briefly say is that part 4, I'll talk about my high school years in just because basically everything's going to repeat over each other, because if I don't explain everything the way it is now, like the way I'm doing now, it's going to be like, oh, we don't get it. You will get it, because each thing relates to each thing, because my life has been full of ups and downs, deaths, and unhappiness. It's not until later in my life that some of the happiness started. Alright? So this is the end of part 3. I'm going to start part 4. Alright? And hopefully, by the time this day is out, I get out what I have to say and I put it all on YouTube. And hopefully, I just hope, and I'm wondering maybe if I can edit this, that maybe somebody will actually say, how about I write your story, or talk to me about it. Or maybe it'll give people a better insight on what I am. Alright? But end of part 3, part 4 is coming up. Okay, bye.